Hello guys, I'm Azar and in this video I will teach you object-oriented programming. Basically, programming can be divided into two main types. One is procedural programming and the other is object-oriented programming. And procedural programming, what we do, we have one main function and we write all our code in that function. And the compiler read each line of code and come to the end, and everything is compiled at the same place. But in object-oriented programming, we have classes and objects. We divide the same chunk of code into modules on the basis of similarity and type. So we have a class and we have objects of that class in object-oriented programming. And procedural programming, if we have code of 10,000 lines for example, so it is very difficult to manage that code. But in object-oriented programming, we have modules which are easy to manage and they are extendable. So object-oriented programming has more benefits than procedural programming. Let's see its benefits. Code reusability. We can reuse our codes by using objects of the same class. Code maintenance. We have a smaller code rather than a longer as in the procedural web programming. Modular structure of code. We have modules of code so they are easy to manage. And security. And security, we have an important concept called data hiding. We will discuss it later. And extendable code and object-oriented programming, we can extend our codes up to so many objects of a same class. Now, class and object. What is a class? Suppose that a company wants to manufacture a car. So what will the company do? The company will tell its engineer to make a model of that car. Either it will be on paper or some software. But first they will make the model of that car. So that model is actually called a class in object-oriented programming. Now what will the company do? They have the model now, so they will manufacture a car from that model. The model do not have any physical existence, but it is just a design. But the car that is manufactured from that model has the physical existence, and it do have some functions and can perform functions. So the cars that are made from the model are called objects in object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, we have a structure. We first make a structure which is called a class, and then we make objects of that class. So objects have physical existence and they can perform some functions, but in class they do not perform any function and they do not have any physical existence. Same is the case with for example buildings. If you want to construct a building, we do not go and place the bricks and start constructing the building, but first we hire an engineer and we tell him to make a blueprint of our building, and according to that blueprint we construct that building. So properties and functions of class. A class must have some properties and some functions. For example, we have a class called car. So car must have some properties. For example, color, top speed, number of doors, engine capacity, and manufacturer, model, etc. These are the properties for which car is known. And then we have some functions of cars. For example, it will start, it will accelerate, it will brake, and it will stop. So these are the functions of cars. For example, if we have another class, person, for example, so what are the properties of a person? A person must have name, age, height, weight. So these are the properties of person. And the functions of person will be, for example, he must talk, he must walk, he must sleep, or something like that. These are the functions of the person. So let's move into our code editor and make a class. So here in our code editor we'll make a class car. So to make a class we use a keyword class. After that we write the name of the class. Remember that the name of the class begins always with capital letter. So for example my class name is car. After that I will put a colon and press enter. So this is a class named car. So now here I will define some properties of car. So the first property of car is, for example, its model, or for example its manufacturer, right? For example I set it to empty, and then its model, and then its, for example, color, and then its engine capacity, right? So these are the properties of car. Now I will define functions of car. So to define a function of car I will use a keyword def. After that I will write the name of the function. So I will name the function start, and then I will, for example, print car is starting. For simplicity you can write any code here. I will define another function, for example accelerate, and for simplicity I will print car is accelerating, and I will define another function stop, and I will print here car is stopped, for example, or stopping, or whatever. So these are the functions of car. So we have made a class in which we have some properties. These four are the properties, and after that we have three functions of that car. As you can see here, self means that these functions are of this class. Self is for this class. So this was all about the class, and in the next video I will teach you constructors, and I hope that you will have liked this video. If you like this, so hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you.